Greetings and welcome to Eye Care Leadership Live. This is the podcast for eye care leaders who want to level up their leadership, create better cultures, and improve the financial results of their clinics. Now, let's join the show. Hey everybody, this is a new concept I'm trying with the podcast, and I'm calling it Tales from the Trenches. And what this is all about is really talking about stories from HR or stories from ophthalmology and eye care, things that I'm working on right now that might be applicable to what you're doing out there, or maybe some things that I have learned along the way. And today's episode is going to be about hiring. I've been doing a lot of hiring lately, a lot of recruitment for the clients that I work with. And I love doing this work. It is one of the things that it seems to take a lot of time. It takes a lot of your time out there. If you're a practice administrator, you're spending a lot of time looking at job descriptions, or maybe not even looking at them and just sending them out there without updating them, and reviewing resumes and trying to figure out like who is worth talking to. And then actually making time to talk to them and scheduling that out. And sometimes they don't show up, and you feel like a lot of your time gets wasted. And the other problem that happens is you start to get frustrated, and you might cut your process short because you're so busy, and because you are just frustrated with people not showing up, and the first person that's kind of has a pulse, you're going to want to take them. And so I want to just talk about some lessons I think that I've learned when it comes to hiring, and hopefully that will be helpful to you. Lately I've been doing a lot of recruiting at the front desk, and the reason that I have a particular client that's having a lot of needs at the front desk is actually a good problem, because they are promoting from within. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on if you supervise the front desk or not, the front desk team is often the one that gets tapped for other roles in the office. The best people get pulled into clinic, or they become an optician, or they move into the billing department. It's the thing about the front desk is it's the easiest place to get your foot in the door, and so then it becomes the easiest place to springboard into other things, and a lot of people, everyone at the front desk, and so the clinical manager is going to know who they are, and is going to find out that Joni is really great, and gosh, shouldn't we hire Joni for our, entry-level technician position? We can train Joni. I mean, she's so awesome. And then that happens in the optical department. And then maybe even I've seen research grab people from the front desk. So, hire great people at the front desk, and you need to get whoever's managing your front desk needs to be your best hirer and your best trainer, because they are the person that is the intake valve for the whole clinical staffing in a way. Because if they hire great people and they train them on how the clinic works and the financials, and teach them the big picture of the clinic, and do a job picking people with good character, then the two things happen. One is you make it easier to staff other positions. Hey, we need a tech. Let's hire Sam. He's awesome. He's at the front desk. And then the other thing is, when that person that is really good at hiring for the front desk, when Sam does transfer out to another department, that manager can say, hey, no problem. I'm great at hiring. I can find somebody quick. I know what I'm looking for. We're always hiring, and I'm good at determining who is a good fit and who's not. And we have a very good process that we follow. And so I love being a part of that. I've been doing been helping a lot of my clients with that work right now, because it is time consuming. But I'm starting to see, one new manager that I have that I'm working with is we're getting on that same wavelength where I think she's learning like, hey, this is what's good, this is what's not good, and when it comes to hiring. And so getting really fast at that is important. Another thing is spending money where you have to. I've been working with a few clients doing hiring, and in what really matters, what really impacts your applicant flow is your willingness to spend money. And not a lot of money. I'm not talking about $1,000, $2,000. I'm talking about $100, maybe more like $200 or $300 to improve your applicant flow. To get, instead of getting randos applying from out of state, which sometimes those people are okay, to getting experienced technicians in your local area noticing your job. If you want to get better quality, sometimes you just absolutely have to spend money. And you can usually tell within a day or two of posting a job if it has the traction or not. Sometimes it has loads of traction and you never have to spend money. But a lot of times it doesn't, and you need to sponsor that job. You need to sponsor that job. And a lot of times Indeed will try to give you a number to spend, and you don't need to spend that amount per day, and you don't need to spend it as long as they want you to. Generally, I go for a week at a time. I'll spend $30 to $50 a day, depending on the job, for about a week, and we'll see how it goes. And a lot of times that's exactly, I've almost never has that not been enough. Now, maybe if we're looking for a marketing director or, a new head of operations or something like that, that might not be enough. But spend money. Don't be afraid to do that. Check references. And, I realize that people they give only the good reference. They're not going to give bad references to you, but actually sometimes they do. And if you push them and you say, hey, I need former supervisors, and they give you that person's information, that person is like, this guy was just okay. Or we kind of had some issues. And see what you can find out. See if your current staff can find out anything. Maybe they used to work with that person. I recently had a situation where a current employee really cared about her job, and she told me, hey, I'll see what I can find out. I used to work at this office. They looked around, they found out, they asked some questions, and it wasn't really a great reference. What came back wasn't super helpful. You have to listen to that. That's valid information. And I think I'm a believer that just asking for the references will help weed people out, because they know if they don't have good references, if they've been kind of a loser and haven't done a good job, then they're not going to have good references, and they're going to not even apply, or they're going to just ghost you after they give you their reference information, because they know that they're not going to get good references back on them. And so just asking for the references matters. It matters. And then the last thing I'll say is, you never know when someone will quit on you. You could be in the middle of recruiting for a job, and then all of a sudden 2 more people leave. And then you've got to figure out, is there other people in this pipeline that I could bring in for an interview? Do I need to look at some of the people that applied last month when I was recruiting for this job? And so having a system that allows you, or a person who is your recruiting person, that you can say, hey, Mike, can you see if we've had any recent applicants that would be good for this? Because that's the fastest way to fill a job, is to talk to someone that you've already talked to and say, hey, we just had this opening. I know that you didn't get hired for that other job, but what about this job? Would you be interested in that? I've been doing a lot of that lately. Because I have a very good system that I use called Breezy HR, and it's great for going back into old applications and finding people that, would be good. And so I use it a lot for that. So all this is to say is hiring is super important, and you need to be really good at it. And if it's taking up too much of your time, reach out to me. I love to help eye care businesses with hiring, whether it's a front desk or a research coordinator or a optometric technician or an office manager. There's something really fun about connecting a great person with a great job. And if you don't want help, then figure out a good process to get good at this, because it's the biggest opportunity to change the trajectory of your clinic. Every hire is going to take you up a little bit or take you down a little bit, or maybe even a lot, right? But in your culture. So that's the show today. This is Tales from the Trenches. I think I'll keep this going. It's kind of fun. If you have any feedback for me on the show or ideas, I'd love to hear them. You can reach out to me at mike@seasoned-advice.com. See you on the next episode. Well, that brings this episode of Eye Care Leadership Live to a conclusion. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show on your podcast app and share it with someone who would value the content. I promise to bring you more guests and content to help make you a better eye care clinical leader. I also invite you to subscribe to my HR newsletter for eye care leaders. You can find information about that at seasoned-advice.com. Now go out there and lead with confidence.